I'm going to hit record right now. Okay, we're going to get started. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. My name's Steve Woody, and today we're going to be talking with the core team at So here's the thing: at Sunflower Farmers. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. So the chat that you're seeing right now is going to be from Discord, but we're streaming it on Twitter because we broke Discord this morning and we couldn't bring any more people in. So if you're watching this on Twitter and you want to get involved in the conversation, you'll need to pop over to the Discord and join the AMA channel. But before we go any further, I'd just like to introduce the team. Guys, how are you doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Doing great. Haven't slept much, but surviving.
Yeah, it's the middle of the night here, mate. So it's not. I look forward to my morning tomorrow, which is Saturday morning. Well-earned rest.
Yeah, tired a bit, but should be fine. Yeah.
There's a couple of people that are saying there is no sound on Twitter, so just give me a couple of seconds while I fix that. Okay. No sound on. Okay, no audio on Twitter. There's no reason why there should be no audio on Twitter, guys. This is actually saying that everything's right and working. I'm just testing it now. It says everything's good to go. So if you're watching on Twitter, can you... Okay, link for Twitter. Okay. Let me just double check this. All right. Yeah, it says it's there. It says it's working. Broadcast stream. Hello, check, check. Right. All right, guys. Well, look, they can hear you. They can hear you in Twitter. Okay, perfectly. They can say that you can hear us in Twitter. Okay. All right, guys. So we've got the three core members of the team here. We've got Adam, we've got Spencer, and we've got Romy. You've seen them in Discord. You know of them, but now you're getting to see their face. So, Adam, if we could just start with you, my friend. What is this all about? What's going on? Like, how was this created? How did this come about? Who are you guys? What's going on here? Why are we on this AMA? What's the crack?
Yeah, definitely. And sorry to let anyone down, but I'm not the actual pumpkin builder avatar that I use in Discord. I've had a few people jump on video calls and be like, "What? You're not that fat old farmer?" They're actually let's say this is my real face. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We're just so excited with what's been happening with this project lately. Sunflower Farmers, it started off as just this side project where, look, we just wanted to make something cool. The intention was never to bring the blockchain to its knees. It just started off with a small group of people. With Romy and Spencer in this case, I was just like, "Hey guys, come over, check out this game that I've been building." And since then, it's kind of just grown and grown, but it's never been this idea of, "Hey, let's make this huge crypto game." And we never thought that was the case. I remember I entered this hackathon, Dora Hacks hackathon is where all this started. And there was 100 contestants, 30 winners, and Sunflower Farmers was nowhere to be seen in that list. But that wasn't the point. We weren't having success. We just kept building this. We enjoyed the ideas that we're playing around with, and we thought we had a pretty solid vision. So that's kind of been us the last 6-7 months. It's just this open source project that we've just been improving slowly and slowly, having fun with a very small community. And then about 10 days ago, it just started blowing up and got unreal. So it is my passion, building games and building community-driven projects. And this is just so validating to see where this game has gotten so far. And I'm just so excited to keep working on this project and see where it takes us in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
just
that's go on, mate. Sorry, I was going to say that's one of the things that people don't realize where you guys have come from, right? You're not a AAA game studio. You're not sitting there counting your profits and going, "Yeah, we're making all this money while the whole world burns around you." You're just a small team of passionate friends who have got together and said, "We're going to build something awesome that we love to play."
Yeah, we actually you know, we actually all worked together, and it was a nice little domino effect because Adam was actually my boss, and then Adam left me in the dark, and then I became Romi's boss, and so now we're all each other's boss. It's kind of like a triangle, but we've all kind of stayed friends and just been farming out this little, you know, this tiny little game that we were so excited about. Just, you know, texting each other, sending each other our, you know, little minted tokens that we were, you know, harvesting. And then, you know, during the holiday with our family, it was like everything just kind of really blew up, which was so exciting for all of us in that moment. But yeah,
we kept playing just like with a couple of people. Like we started only the three of us playing, and then this grew to 10, 20 people, and then 15 days ago we had just a handful of people, like I would say 100, 200 people, and then now we are probably almost 50,000 people on the Discord channel or Discord server. So
it's crazy.
How did we get here?
and I think we're kind of like, it's funny because you're building a bit of a name for yourself. So, and we'll get into this in a minute. Like we'll talk about what happened and how we broke MATIC, and it looks like we've broken Twitter this morning, and now it looks like we've just broken Discord. So like, I think tech companies are going to be really fearful of you guys. You want to?
Is it me? I'm breaking shit.
It's always Romy, man. Always Romy.
This is the thing, though. I think there's a big difference between intentionally and unintentionally breaking something, right? I think part of development is that things get broken and you fix them, and it's kind of how you respond. And that's why we're here today. It's the ability for you guys to be able to show up and say, look, this is us. Like, you can see us. This is our face. We're not hiding, even though we have our avatars, and there's a bit of a theme going on with avatars in Discord. Like, we're here, we're real people, and you get to know the people a little bit better. So guys, before we get into the AMA and start asking questions and things, I'd just like to kind of touch on your own, like each of you, if we can just touch on your own personal thoughts and feelings. What has it been like for you since Christmas? Because
it's crazy. We're sleeping less than 4 hours a day.
Like, this is something which a lot of people don't get to experience. Like, everybody wants that to go viral, and everybody wants that success, and everybody wants to have a product that people love, but not a lot of people get that, like, bang, and it just blows up. So like, what happens in that moment? Like, what were you doing before that? How did you find out that this was blowing up? And then what's it been since? And like, Spencer, let's start with you, mate. How do you feel? Like, what's your personal experience been of this journey?
Well, I'm typically a pretty casual person, take it pretty easy. Living, you know, COVID has kind of locked us into this really simple, repetitive life. I have a 2-year-old. A lot of my life revolves around dinosaurs, taking photos of my kid, whatever. And then the other part of my life was every 3 days harvesting these radishes on 4 farms that I had running in the background. So over my Christmas, you know, I was just continuing on with this. My mother-in-law had flown in from New York City, which was really difficult to get her into Australia. It was the first time she'd met my partner and I's son. Everything seemed really casual, hey. And then next minute, I start getting messages from these guys, and I start being like, wait, what the hell is going on? You know, the radishes have really taken off, man. And just the hardest thing for me, I think, was like still trying to be present in my family's holiday. You know, like I had someone in town, I'm trying to do tourist things, but at the same time, I'm like on my phone, literally kind of freaking out. So since then, I feel like I've gone through the beautiful breadth of human emotion, which is kind of like, you know, euphoria, absolute panic, you know, tears, like I've experienced everything since Christmas Day. It's been a hell of a Christmas, and it's going to be a hell of a 2020. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. If we're starting this way, mate, we're set up for success.
So I just want to say this to the guys that are watching. Look, we've stopped the Twitter link because there was no sound, and all you kept saying was no sound in Twitter, and we get that. So there's no point in posting a video with no sound. We're posting this in Discord. Guys, just be here, be present. If you're watching and you can see it, we'll post a recording straight after. Straight after. You're here, you're live, you're one of the lucky few that got in. We should have limited this to golden egg holders. All right. But I'm sorry there's been problems. Look, we've been experiencing problems all week. Okay. We're dealing with them. And so we just want to make sure we move forward. So guys, if you're in the chat, just know that we're doing this, okay? We're not going to stop this now. Let's get it done and then let's get it put out afterwards. We can still see the chat. So if you've got questions, just relay it. Let people know in the chat if they're saying they can't hear or see or can't get in. Just let them know. Let them understand that we're going to record this and they're going to get a copy straight after, okay? So yeah, we're gonna do that. So Adam, what about for yourself, mate? How's it been for you? Like the same question, like the run up to it, the during and the after. From your perspective, how does that feel?
It's been pretty crazy. I think about 2 weeks ago, so I'm traveling at the moment and meeting the in-laws, and I've been meeting cousins and friends. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a software engineer, but like, this is my passion. Check out this game. And everyone's like, man, this is kind of cool. A few people would play it. And then this week, everyone's messaging me going, hey, this is awesome. It's exploding. And so it's just been like this roller coaster. I don't remember who it was that messaged me, but someone's like, did you see that people are trading Sunflower token right now? It's like,
yeah, I think it was me.
It was probably Romy, yeah.
Yeah.
it was insane because like that was never the plan for us, at least, to have like this multi-billion-dollar token. Like there was no pre-mine. We didn't have this hold of the tokens. And so looking back in hindsight, that's been great because it's sort of removed us from any of those decisions like, hey, what changes can we make just to increase our stack? It's like, cool.
We
all
don't
this
have
stuff can be happening.
We don't have one.
It's like all this stuff can be happening with the market, but that's not actually going to influence our decision. Like we can just keep going and building this game we love. And I think everything's obviously been stressful, but in terms of that side of things, it's not like, oh, I'm going to lose these hundreds of thousands of dollars that have just like built up when the price gets to this point. So look, it's been emotional sort of seeing the creation get this way, but just so happy that the community's been joining in and helping the project and making it better. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing it's in that, I mean, there's so many emotions, right, that you go through in that moment. There's shock, there's like, oh my God, what's happening? And there's like excitement. And then there's fear of like, oh my God, what is something's going to go wrong? And then there's like this sense of responsibility that you're now responsible for so much more than you was before. And you're trying to continue developing at a pace that you was comfortable with. And now you've got all this additional pressure and you're dealing with the community and you're dealing with tech issues and you're dealing with game updates and there's just all, and I watched this video. If someone can post in the chat in the Discord, has anyone got that YouTube link to the GitHub commits? I don't know if you've seen it. It was an incredible.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, if guys, if anyone can
Right.
post that in the chat, in the AMA live chat, I'll play it for anyone that hasn't seen it. It's absolutely phenomenal. But before we do that, Romy, what about from your end, my friend? How does it feel for you? I want to get that same question from you to kind of just before this started, like you found
Yeah.
out and then what's it been like?
So I had this experience of working with these guys, and I really liked the way we work together. And then I thought, yeah, nice. It's a nice project. Let's do it. And then I talked to my other friends about it, and they just said, only one more game, just a farming little game, and no one really paid attention on it. And I'll just keep working, and then let's see where we go. And before all this, I was just spending time with my friends, to be honest, during Christmas break, and everything was fun, just having fun. And then suddenly we get this, this influx of people. And then I was just like, what do we do, guys? Like, it's happening. I don't know what we do. And then
Romy started panicking first.
Yeah, I panicked because I didn't know what to do at that point. And then I got really excited because this is going somewhere. It's something that we work as a it's a hobby, it's a passion, really. We never imagined this would get this big so fast. So yeah, but as everyone said, we've been through a lot of emotions during this last 2 weeks or so. It's been crazy. Yeah,
It has, right? It's been crazy, and I think this is where, like, there's been two sides to this success, and we'll dive into this in a minute. We'll talk about the bot side, and we'll talk about the player side, because there's both. We can't say it's just bots. There's incredible community. I mean, I'm looking right now, 47,800 people in the community. 47,800 new people in the community. I mean, before the explosion, how many people were in your Discord server?
Two.
Yeah, mate. There was nothing. Like, I remember being in shock when it was at. I went to bed one night and it was at 300, and this was at the point at which it was starting to explode. And I woke up the next day and it was at 400, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So it jumped
I started-
300.
It jumped 100 and I had a panic attack. Yeah.
I started telling my wife, "Look at this, we have 1,000 people."
Yeah.
So I love the fact that that's happened. And what I like, and look, when I found out about this game, I was playing a different game, like many other people. I mean, it was unintentionally genius. The marketing campaign that you didn't realize you were putting out there was that by crashing the MATIC network, people were going to Gas Tracker on Polyscan, saying, what is this token? Doing a bit of research, finding you guys. And then, like me, some people are like, hey guys, you've just crashed the network, what's going on? And then you found this like amazing community, right? And so what I found, like the first thing I did, I was talking to Iras and Romy and a couple of other people when I come in. It was so chill, so quiet. It was just nice vibes. And then I logged into the game and I was like, I've got to check this game out. I need to see what the fuss is about. And the first thing that happened when I popped into the game, that screen, that pop-up, it says, before you can even play this game, before you can even get started, you need to make a donation to a charity. Whose idea was that?
That's all Adam made.
That was my idea.
That was an interesting way to onboard people. Why?
I don't know where the idea came from. I just remember looking at other games when there was a bit of an entry with buying NFTs just to get started, and I was like, okay, we can't get everyone just jumping in and creating accounts. Little did I know about the bot situation that could arise, and I was like, you know what, a good way to start is just 10-cent donation. Like, let's get something in there. Let's do a bit of good in the world as well. And I think, like, hey, we didn't have a AAA company backing us. We didn't have anything influencing us, how we needed to make money or how the game would profit. It just seems like the right way to onboard users. Yeah, I don't quite know where the idea came from. It wasn't well thought out. Didn't look at it with like an MBA in economics and think about how this is going to play out in the future. It just seemed right at the time.
Nice. And you chose the free charities that you did decide to go for. Was there a reason behind that? Were they the first ones you found on a Google search, or was it a case of like, okay, these are the ones that we're going to go for? Like, what kind of made you decide to go down that route of using the charities that you used?
I think there was, the first criteria was they had to accept cryptocurrency. They had a public address to send it to. And then I narrowed it down to some farm themed ones. They're all charities I'm quite passionate about. So it was about 10 of those, and then just narrowed it down to the ones that we have right now.
And I think this is the thing, like there's free right now, right? So we've got and I haven't got them in front of me, so I can't see what they are, but I'm going to see if I can remember them. Let's see how good my memory is. There's a clearing up the planet one. There's one for water. And there's another one, which I think is going towards underappreciated developers that crash the MATIC network. Is that, no, that's not the first. No, what was the third one?
Unfortunately,
it's the Heifer project. It's like
project.
Helping farmers in underdeveloped countries, kind of with microloans and stuff like that, helping to empower farmers to be able to produce food, etc., with livestock farming. it comes along with some education and stuff as well.
And do you know what? I love that, because this is one of the reasons I got so excited about your project, going beyond the token economics that a lot of people have been talking about. I work with a lot of people in the Philippines, and they struggle with an economically struggling country. And so, like what you're saying with these charities, this idea of like virtually real, where you can kind of digitally farm crops to put physical real food on the table, like to empower people in the real world by using a digital asset to do that, is such a phenomenal concept around this play to earn like gaming sphere that's taken off with the metaverse and everything that's happening right now. And you guys kind of being at the forefront of this. I think what you've done is you've stumbled across something that is very needed in this space, because you look at a lot of play to earn games and there is a massive requirement to onboard. Like if you look at Axie, the cost of Axie, it used to cost like $1,000 to get on board. You look at what it costs to buy these teams and these companies, and yet here you are with the lowest possible barrier to entry that revolves around a donation that you don't even get. It doesn't even go to you, it goes to a charity. So that kind of brings me to the question, like, where do you get your income from? Because and I'd like you to kind of go through, like, just to explain this, there was no pre-mine, right? There was no token allocation. There's no assets that were put aside into a vault for you guys. I correct me if I'm wrong, but the only way that you guys make money out of this game is by playing the game.
Yes, correct.
Every 3 days, mate, harvest those radishes.
Radishes, mate.
Oh, for Adam, because he forgets about the halving.
Yeah. It's yeah, look, there is no, we all work full-time jobs. I think we've lost Adam.
I think Adam's
Either
screen
he's
might have just disconnected.
Yeah.
Either that or he's
in a trance.
fault right now.
Yeah.
By the way, Spencer is
yeah.
still my boss.
He'll come back.
Yeah, I'm a team lead and a software engineer team lead. Rami's in my team, but I work, yeah, just as a dev. I have experience in blockchain from back in 2017. I worked on a few ICOs back when those were a thing, for a dev agency back then. But yeah, that's what I do day to day. Yeah, consult on a couple of other apps, but really, like, that's the only way I make money. I don't have any money out of this.
We have a full-time
do this
job.
for fun.
So let me get this right. So you have a full-time job, and yet you do this on the side as a part-time hobby and a passion?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think people need to appreciate and respect that. Like this, it's not like this is you're not a AAA game studio. You're just a passionate group of developers and people, friends that have come together because you wanted to do something incredible in this space. You wasn't doing it because you were like, we're going to create the next token that's going to make us millions. You weren't like, we're going to fleece everyone and rug pull any, like there was no rug to pull, right? There was nothing there to start with. It was all, hey, play the game. And if you want to generate some tokens from this smart contract, then you can, but we're all in this together.
Yeah.
So what was it like at the start? I'm just curious, like how were the rewards? How did it seem like when there was a few of you playing? It must have just been on game mechanics, right? Because there was no incentive. There was no financial reward. Like how did that feel for you guys?
I mean, it was
most of the time I just forgot to harvest. Sometimes I just planned it, and then after a week I would go back and, okay, I need to harvest this radishes, and then
I think that Adam
nothing.
had maybe I think that we all got to start playing in the beta phase. So like we had, and it was like at the very beginning when the rewards were kind of great, it was like one sunflower for two type thing. This was at the very, very beginning. And then when we released, we'd maybe been farming for a week or something like that. And then the community just slowly grew, and it was just such an awesome community. It just was so, like, the Discord channel, that core group was just so positive. Everyone was so keen on the game. Really, really positive chat. It was like exciting to kind of get involved in that. And then we had the first halving event, which was absolute chaos, because we didn't really realize that, like we were going over the amount, and then someone would upgrade their farm and it would burn tokens again. So we'd go underneath and we swang like that for like, I don't know, a good 4 days. And that's how the rewards chest was born. Because we, instead of burning those tokens when people buy, upgrade their farms, we send it into a pool where farmers are then rewarded based on their holdings, a percentage based on their holdings. And that was to limit the kind of like volatility that happened around the halving time, because it was wild, man. Like, people were waiting, people were like just watching the numbers and then planting, people were losing, you know, people weren't aware that the halving was happening, so they were planting and then losing money. It was like, that was our first yeah, that was our first intro to the stress of this.
Let me just bring Adam back in. He's here now. Bear with me a second. He's just grabbed the water while he was resetting. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to bring him back in. Here he is. All right. Hopefully that's okay. He's in. Hello, mate. Welcome back. He's just connecting to the audio. Okay, cool. So, look, guys, I think this was a good opportunity to introduce the team. We wanted to get you to know the team a bit better, to understand where they've come from, why they've done it, where we're going. And so I think what we need to do now is let's jump into some of the questions. There's a few that we've looked at through the AMA. We're not gonna, like, if you ask questions like why, like when fixed gas, when moon, like when token, like why, we're not interested in those questions. If you've got decent questions that you want to ask, then we're more than happy to accommodate them. So we will check the chat as well, the live chat, which you can see on the screen, which is fed through from the Discord. It's the AMA live chat, so you're watching it live. If you can't see the live stream, then please know that we'll record it afterwards. You're just limited if you're here, and I think you understand that now. So the first one is, let's have a look at the first question that's come in here is it a good choice to make this kind of game open source? People are saying, isn't it an invitation for automation, for people to create bots and scripts?
Yeah, I think the decision behind this kind of goes down to a bit of the philosophy around why we started this project. Like, the metaverse isn't just for one person or one company to create. It's for the entire community to create. And sure, we could have released this closed source and made a nice little cool project, but
oh, I think he's connected.
There he goes again.
Gone again. Let's see if he comes back. But if not, Spencer, do you want to pick up on that?
Yeah. I think that the vision is a lot bigger than just this like small little, 17 crop farm. I think the vision is like Adam said, this metaverse where there's really no limit to where we can go with this. And I think having that kind of vision, you can't do that with 3 people doing this in their spare time. That, and also, like, I think being a software engineer, something that I really love about this profession and really love about the community is this idea of open source, and this idea that we share stuff, we share knowledge, we share skills, we share tools, and we kind of do that in the hope that we'll get other people who are smarter and, have more time than us to kind of continue building this thing, which is, it's an interesting concept because it doesn't really happen. It's not really mirrored in the day-to-day world. Society is a lot more about kind of like being very closed off and what I have is mine. And I think that is something that's really beautiful about software engineering. And I think that is definitely what we want to capture in this idea of this multiverse, where it's kind of like, it's not just one person's vision. It's like, it started as our vision, but it's like we welcome everybody else who also believes in this vision to come and continue to build this with us. I think that's why it's important to have it open source.
And we're experiencing now the power of the open source. See how, the pixel art we getting submitted. See all the devs that are working with us and helping on the repo. It's amazing to see all these great people, really smart people, just helping to shape this open source metaverse. It's
people commenting who've never worked in Solidity, for example. They've gone in, they've read the contracts, they've read them in the context of the game, they're understanding stuff, they're asking questions, and then they're coming up with ideas. Like that's the beauty. that's what we're trying to foster.
And I have to say, and I agree with that, two of my favorite channels in Discord right now is the community dev and the community artist channel. They are so exciting. Like, if you have any concerns about this game, you just have to spend 5 minutes scrolling through and just look at some of the just some of the content that is being created by people that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to create it. Because you don't get to work on a game unless you're, either going to do it yourself or go and get hired by a team that are building it. So to join this kind of open source community is kind of, it's almost like what WordPress did to websites in a way. It's this whole collaboration model where we're like, look, we kind of want to step back, hands off, and say, you build it. We'll set the framework up for you, and then you build it. And I think in doing that, and it's right in what we're seeing here, and I understand, is that you have both good and bad actors. There's some incredible people that are building some incredible assets, and there's also some incredible people building some detrimental assets that are harming the community rather than helping them. And I think what's beautiful, and I heard Adam say this, and Adam, thanks for joining us back, mate. I feel like there's a kind of a powering stepping back and saying, there's no ego here. There's no ownership here in this sense. We want the community to build this, and let's see where they take it. And I think in doing that, which is a beautiful thing, you've obviously uncovered an interesting series of events, right? I think we can say that this was unexpected, but it's now happening. So one of the questions which I know most people are, asking, and they really want to know, is like, what is being done behind the scenes? What are you guys doing in terms of how do you think and feel about the botting issue? Let's just address the elephant in the room first. How do you feel about it? And what kind of things are happening behind the scenes to be able to address this? Because we know you've had conversations with MATIC. We know that you've had conversations with the dev teams and other dev. There's a beautiful Reddit post which we've seen from another game designer who's kind of deconstructed the whole, like, what's happened. There's Twitter posts. There's a lot of other people. Some people are obviously being quite toxic, but there's an overwhelming show of support from people who are like, hey, look, it's amazing that you're building in this space. Let's see if we can help you. Let's see if we can make this better. And to me, that's kind of everything that crypto sort of personifies, right? It's that collaboration, it's that decentralization, it's that ability to work together. So what's going on from your perspective, guys, behind the scenes to kind of deal with this issue?
Yeah, I'll jump on this one. From an emotional perspective, the people that are running bots, it's a bit strange. Like, you go in and they open source a lot of their code, like, props to that. I think that's a good point. But you read the code and they're like, oh, we're taking down this big, stealing money from a crypto large company that's play to earn. And it's like, not really. You're just stealing and making the game worse for the actual players. And I've reached out to a couple of these open source bots, and they're totally reasonable people. They're intelligent people. They didn't quite understand the harm they were doing. Like, well, I had a great conversation with one guy who decided to take one of his repos down and said, look, sorry, I didn't actually understand this game and what it was trying to achieve. So look, I think I try to give people the benefit of the doubt of what they're doing, but there's always going to be people that are trying to manipulate the blockchain just to make a quick buck. And so it is our responsibility now that we have this large community. Like, we do have a duty to lift up our game and solve this situation. And we've talked to Polygon, we've talked to about 4 or 5 well-known crypto projects by this point, and we've got a really good idea of where we want to go, and we're already prototyping how this would work. We're really big on decentralization, and that is our goal, and that is always going to be our vision. But we can't, from what we've seen with this bot situation, we just can't be completely decentralized without some sort of server at the moment doing verification, checking that it's not a bot. And so that is the first point of call that we are building out right now, a verification mechanism on the back end, which will just ensure that it's real human players that are playing this game, interacting with it, collecting items, crafting items, and all of that. The next sort of recommendations that we've got and we're building out right now is change the mechanics of the game that it incentivizes bots less. And so whether this is figuring out what is humanly possible to earn in a day and capping it at that, or trying to figure out what are actual human behaviors and incentives that'll encourage humans versus bots. And so this is almost from a gameplay mechanic and a gameplay design point of view that we're working on as well. And I think the big point here is we're not going in the dark for a couple of years to build out this elaborate system. No, we're going to get the initial checks in place, and we're just going to be very agile about this. As we go, we're going to keep getting layers and layers on top of each other. There's some really good ideas around doing off-chain data, cross-chain bridges, spinning up our own blockchain as well. And I think that definitely will be the aim in the future. Like if we want pure decentralization, you can go on any blockchain and play this game, but we can't get there from day one. And so we're addressing these core issues around the bots. And over time, we're just going to keep adding this infrastructure around that does get us to that vision of true decentralization, because hey, this is the metaverse. You should be owning everything. There shouldn't be someone behind the scenes who can flick a switch on a server and you're instantly banned. Like that's authoritarian. That's not the permissionless nature that we want on the blockchain.
Right. So it's about how do you be decentralized? Because to deal with the bots, there has to be an element of centralization there to deal with the bots. But in being centralized, you're not following on your core values of being truly decentralized. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you deployed the smart contract, you made it immutable to the sense that it was like, we're no longer going to be able to make edits to the smart contract, correct? And so, yeah, so now it's a case of looking with some very intelligent people at different options on how it's not. And this is the thing, chat. It is not a case of just, oh, switch the bots off or let's just do this. And people are saying just install a captcha. The bots that are interacting with a smart contract. They're actually bypassing the website. So they're not going through the same processes that you're going through. And I think that's where we need to look at where we go forward here, right? Is that right? That there has to be that element of protecting the community, but also giving the community that control, but not enough control that they can damage the community as a result of that. There's a very fine balance that you guys have got to navigate to get this right. And that's why there's no immediate solution that you can deploy instantly. You have to look at all the options, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what we don't want to do here is deploy a solution and then 3-6 months down the line, come up with another problem that's been caused where we have to go through this again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the advice we've gotten from a lot of teams is to approach the design in an upgradable way. In smart contract lingo, use what's called a proxy, which is pretty much deploying your immutable contract, but leaving the team with a small amount of control that they can continually make updates. And over time, like, hey, there might be a team or a master key, which does let us update those game mechanics. The next stage is that, okay, there's some community voting system that's the source of truth that updates these mechanics. Then a DAO is put on top of that. And so like, you got to vote for these mechanics to update. And so it is a journey to get to that end decentralized piece. But we've got to approach it in this agile way. It's like no solution's perfect. We're not going to get something done in a month and like, hey, this game that's going to be around for 10 years it's bulletproof. No, we need to be realistic about this, design it in a way that we can keep making improvements on top of the game.
I totally agree with that. And I think the good thing here is about communicating, being open and transparent and saying, look, we don't have the solution this second, but we are actively working on it continuously to bring it to you as soon as we can. And we can't give you an exact date and time right now because we just need to look at all options, and we've not done this before. And so just give us that space to be able to do that. And what we promise to give you is an answer as soon as we possibly can. I think that's is that right in saying that to recap, that is where we're kind of at the moment and where we're going forward?
Yeah, I think you're bang on the money there. I don't know if Romy or Spencer, if there's anything that you wanted to add in there.
No, I think that I think that it's important to, we did really, we are incredibly passionate about this concept of decentralization. And I think that initially when faced with this problem, like a lot of people's first solution was you're going to need a centralized server. And for us, it was kind of a little bit like, oh God, this really is a stab in the heart. It really did kind of like go against a lot of our belief systems, but today we had a great conversation with an incredibly smart blockchain dev who said something that really, resonated, which was, decentralization is still the goal, right? Like it's still the end goal. It's still where we're trying to get to. Right now, though, it's not, all of the systems aren't perfectly set up to allow us to be fully decentralized. Unfortunately, crypto isn't quite there yet, and it's like right now we're going to have to implement a centralized solution in order to deal with this, because of course, like it's actually heartbreaking reading in the chat when a new farmer is trying to start right now, but they literally can't even save their first farm. Like that actually affects me, like it makes me feel, it doesn't make me feel great, so it's kind of like right now we need to fix that. And that's the solution we're working on right now. But I love the path that we're taking, which is like to continue learning and to build in place mechanisms where we can continue to upgrade and continue moving towards that decentralized goal in the future. I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And I think that kind of, and I see the question, it keeps coming up, like, what are you doing to fix the gas? What are you doing to fix the gas? I keep seeing it and people keep asking it. Guys, what you need to understand is the gas is doing its job. When there's pressure on a network, the gas fee goes up for congestion. We can't fix the gas. We don't have, like, by the contract being like, the only thing you can do is terminate the contract right now. And that's not in our interest. Yes, we want to fix the problem, but also we're giving MATIC an opportunity to see a real challenge in, like, what we're doing here unintentionally, somebody else could do maliciously to the network. So their devs are also actively working on mitigating this happening again on their end, and they're scaling. The exact same thing happened to Axie back in June and July when they crashed the Ronin network for a week. The only difference is it was their own network and no one cared about it because it went down and only Axie players cared. The difference here is obviously crashing the MATIC network. There are a lot of other people affected. And look, the team have even had like threats, and we've had some real toxicity around this. It's not the devs' fault on what's happened. I mean, yes, there's something that's happened, but this is crypto. We're building in a space that's never happened before. This has never been done, and we're learning and we're growing, and things are happening at a phenomenal rate. And so I think the thing here is to know that it's not a case of, oh, look, we've broken it. Oh, well, shit happens. Goodbye. It's like, okay, look, we've caused a problem. We hold our hands up. We're really sorry. We didn't mean to. Let's fix it. And how can we fix it in the most effective way possible? So I want you to understand, guys, it's not on us to fix the gas problem. It's on us to work with MATIC to find a solution to be able to reduce the gas. And let's be honest, we've all been very blessed with low gas fees. I mean, anyone that's come across from Ethereum will know that even the gas fees at the moment on MATIC are still cheap compared to some other networks and how they used to be. But things will return. I just need you to know that. Look, guys, just moving on to the next question. I'm curious, has the contract been audited? And is there any audits in place, or are there any plans? Could you shed some light on what's happening on that side of things?
Yeah, I'll definitely jump in on that. This is one of the things that I lost sleep over. As soon as someone messaged and said, people are spending money on SFF, I went, okay, like we've got a duty, we've got a responsibility. We do need to protect the community. So we've gone out, we've got our first audit, techrate.org. We'll be updating this to our GitHub repo just after. But yeah, that's all good. No vulnerabilities found. We'll be doing more audits in the future as well. Like it is, we didn't set out with these intentions to create this massive game, but now that we do have this many people, it is up to us to follow through and be transparent with the community as well. Like, hey, if something pops up, if something's found in these contracts, no game is perfect. You'll be hearing about it. Like we're not closed doors. We're not going to be keeping things to ourselves. Like, and please, if you're a dev and you've got suggestions, improvements, jump in this community devs channel. Like it is truly amazing how everyone is collaborating on this at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's good to hear. So just to recap, there is an audit that you've already put in place and you're going to update the GitHub shortly after. And there'll be more transparency and more communications around that. Amazing. Thank you. So again, some proactive things that are happening behind the scenes that people maybe didn't see before, but that are happening to continue to improve and evolve what's already been put out there. Is there a plan to move the call to functions in the smart contract to a dedicated server? Maybe to eliminate to save the game every 25 minutes and reduce gas fees that way?
Yes. Yeah. So I think this is one of those, there's these things that we as a team can't do. Polygon needs to scale their network and make faster, but there is things as game designers and smart contract designers that we can do to lessen that load. And so the new features going forward and the new mechanisms, it's definitely going to have gas in mind and the amount of transactions in mind as well. So you will see some improvements on that front.
Okay, brilliant. And I'm not going to push you for a time frame on that, but if we were to have a ballpark, are we talking days, weeks, months? Like if the community, because I know they're going to ask, because they always do, like, when is this going to go live? I mean, I know you're actively working on it. In terms of like fixing that part of the game, how high in the priority list is that right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've seen that pop up quite a lot. It's almost every second message. When is this going to get fixed? When is this going to get changed? Like, look, we've got this huge player base. We don't have this 100, 200 people Discord community that we can make changes on the fly. We really do have to do our due diligence. We have to do bulletproof testing. We need to get everything audited correctly. We need to bounce this idea back and forth amongst 100 open source devs. Like, if this is all going to be open source and there's malicious actors out there, we're not going to rush this out. We can't get something out. We really got to take our time with this and do it properly.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense, and I think that's a pragmatic way to look at things. I mean, people have got into this mindset of instant gratification, and they want everything straight away. But you don't want to fix one problem and create two more, right? So we need to make sure that everything's done and checked. And I think a saying, especially here in the UK, is you measure twice and cut once. So it's about just making sure that we have that that process in place and we've checked it from all angles. This is no longer just a passion project between friends. It's now become so much more than that. It's a passion project between communities around the world and tens of thousands of people that are involved in it. So I think you're absolutely right there in taking your time, and the community just have to understand and be realistic that there's not an overnight solution, but it is one that is actively being worked on as quickly as possible. Has it crossed your minds at all to move to a different network? Or would most of the networks always have these same scaling issues? Because if we look at MATIC, it was kind of dubbed as the scaling solution to Ethereum, right? But you look at other chains, people say, oh, why not move to Binance? Why not look at Solana or Avalanche or other chains like Phantom and things like that? Why is what was the drive to be onto MATIC? And is there any plans to go cross-chain or to move off, or are you going to stay? Like, do you still have faith and hope that the team at MATIC are going to be able to create that scaling in the future? How do you see the network now compared to how you saw it when you started?
Yeah, so the dream is definitely Ethereum. I think that is where the central sort of ledger and the metaverse will end up living. And the reason we went over to Polygon was it's 100 times cheaper. Well, at least at the time of making that decision. But they've also got really good partnerships and bridges set up with Ethereum at the moment as well. Yes, we have been looking in other chains. The plan right now is to stick with Polygon and then add that multi-chain interoperability in the future. That is the dream. Sunflower farmers on every chain. Like, you shouldn't dictate that someone needs to go to a single chain to play it. So in short, yeah, we're sticking with Polygon for the time being.
but exploring other options within Polygon to be able to. And I know there's been conversations around creating a side chain and private RPCs, and there's lots of different things. But I think this is again where it comes down to not saying, right, this is what we're going to do right away. It's saying, is this the best solution now and in the long term, so we don't have future problems? And how do we resolve this so we don't come back here and have these same challenges, so that we can focus on gameplay and building the community, right?
I think that's definitely it. Like, there's definitely the path where we could spin up side chains or do ZK rollups. There's a lot of paths and a lot of really good technical solutions, but these technical solutions aren't instant fixes. They aren't something you can do. So we do plan on improving the game and adding similar sort of mechanisms, but we just got to start at the basis for now. And as the game improves, let's just keep adding these layers on top of it until we get to that dream of how we want this game to be running on different chains.
And I think that's a great sort of segue, because look, we've just covered a lot of information around the challenges. Like we can sit here and just keep going over and over the same thing. But the reality is, at the moment, yes, the game was built. Yes, it's caused some problems. MATIC are aware and they're working on solutions. We're aware and we're working on solutions. We need a little bit of time now to implement the right solutions, and we will keep in constant transparent communication to enable the team, the community, to know what the team is doing. So if you don't mind, and I know we've kind of just sort of hit that hour mark where there was a little bit of a challenge at the start. So if you're okay to keep going, guys, for a little bit, can we just shift focus slightly into like the game mechanics and the gameplay? Because I'd love to hear a little bit more. Like, okay, let's just look forward slightly into the very, very near future, when the challenges that we're currently facing around gas fees and scalability and congestion are sorted. Let's just imagine for a minute that they're fixed. Okay, we've done that. That's checked. What next? So if we start looking at gameplay and building out the gameplay mechanics, which, by the way, is still happening alongside all of these other challenges, right? You've still got the community, you've still got a proportion of the dev work that's going around this. So some questions that have started to come in from the community here is, what is going to be a potential future use for the sunflower statue? There's a lot of people that have created it. There's a lot of people that have made it. And there's a lot of people that are asking, why have I got this? What does it do?
Yeah, that is a really good question. The philosophy that we do take with all our work is small iterations, release fast, and get feedback. And so with the sunflower statue, we release items, special craftable things for people to get. We can release that, see what the demand is for that item. Like right now, that's pretty scarce. Like it's quite hard to get those resources to craft that statue. If it keeps that way, the sunflower statue is going to be an entry to the DAO, or it's going to be like a very rare gameplay mechanic. That's sort of, it's like a really nice level. Yeah, it's this really nice product technique where you can launch this feature, get validation. Like, of course, we have a general direction of where we want this to go, but the end goal is that the community's demand for this feature and their ideas actually drives where it goes. And so right now, if you jump in community devs and artists, they're designing these gameplay mechanics, and that's where we're getting the feedback from this from. I think the future is definitely, we've got some sort of distributed voting mechanism to figure out how these gameplay mechanics will be. But for now, leaning towards the Sunflower DAO, that's my top pick for that statue.
I just wanted to touch on this just before we carry on going into the gameplay mechanics, because it's really important. The sunflower statue, who created that? Was that created by a community member? Was that created by someone else? Like, how did that come about, like that asset?
That was the first ever craftable item in Sunflower Farmers. Okay. And so that was pretty crazy. So I just whipped together a bunch of the assets from the pack that we were using. And I was like, cool, I've got this idea. It's kind of like Minecraft, but you combine ERC 20 tokens and you get this statue. We pushed it out into the game and people started minting them. And that was kind of like the light bulb moment was someone linked to OpenSea, and it was just all these like 404 images. Like you couldn't see anything. It just said sunflower statue, and people were swapping this. People were like, there was like a floor price of something very, very small, but people saw that value of these items and having the ownership of those in-game items as well. And so that's kind of where it all started, and the rest of the craftable items kind of just evolved from there. It's like, cool, how do these, we want these to have functionality. How do we actually improve on this? So this next one, it's like, cool, chicken coop. This is actually going to help the eggs that you harvest. The scarecrow is actually helping the speed at which wheat is ready. And so you'll see this in a lot of the features. We get something out there quick, we get feedback, and we just keep improving the ones that come after it.
And I love that. And it's one of the things that kind of drew me to this game. There was a beautiful feeling when I first loaded it up of like this retro 8-bit kind of design vibe that kind of took me back to my Super Nintendo days of playing like Legends of Zelda. There was a real nostalgic feel to kind of come into this space. And it kind of begs the question, because this is something that's happened recently. And I want to address this because not all of the assets in the game have been created by the community, correct? I believe that some of the assets are actually purchased. And in fact, there's been some controversy around this. Can we address this publicly? Because I know we've addressed it kind of internally in the community, but I've seen, and just to kind of preface this and to let you guys know, there was a designer who created an asset pack called Sunnyside. Adam, I believe, was it you, Adam, I believe, found the pack? So Adam found the pack, loved it, thought it was amazing, purchased the license for it. Can you just confirm, Adam, when did you buy the asset pack? Do you know roughly when?
Oh, development started
like a
August.
month, 6 months, a year ago, like just a ballpark?
Or at least August. That's
Okay.
when the game started getting built.
Okay, so kind of back in August last year. And so the asset pack was purchased with the intention of building out these assets for this game, which perfectly viable, and it said on the website it was okay to do. And then nothing, I believe you reached out to the designer, is that correct? And asked if he could potentially work with you. Do you know when you first reached out to him? Do you know when that first message was?
Oh, that would have been about three months ago. I followed him for a long time. His art is amazing, and like if we can get him working on this project, that would be a dream come true.
So we've got this incredible designer who has made this asset pack that I believe they were selling for $30 on their website with a commercial viability license where you could go and use it in game. You could use it for any purpose. And then your game exploded in popularity, right? Absolutely exploded. Shortly after that explosion, there was a Twitter update from the designer saying that no game has permission to use this for NFTs, which was an amendment into that license. Was that communicated to you? Was you told as a license owner? Were you informed at all about this change to the license, or did it just appear on his website?
No, it just kind of appeared on the website. I was a bit taken by surprise, but
how did you find out about it?
The NFT license was, I think someone shared it a few days before, a week before, in Discord.
So like one of the community members shared it?
Yeah.
And so what did you do at that point? So you've seen that he's obviously mentioned you, like they've mentioned your, like the company, they've mentioned, they've mentioned the game. You've then reached out. I've seen the comment thread. You've actually said, hey, look, we have tried to reach out to you. We'd love to work with you. We think your art's amazing. And then the reply that you got back from him, not in a private message. He didn't, did he reach out to you in a private message?
No, not yet. It's just been on that Twitter thread.
So he didn't reply to your message, but he acknowledged that he saw a message from you and he replied on the Twitter thread. Because he actually said, I saw one message from you, but I don't constitute that as reaching out. So, okay. So now we've got a designer who you want to work with, who you love their work, and you've reached out to them and you've actually legally purchased their license, which they've said you can use. And now they've gone back and reneged on their contract and said, now you can't use it. How does that make you feel?
I always give people the benefit of the doubt. And like, in this case, his designs, it's his baby, it's his creation. Like, I totally get that. This game, the code I've written, the mechanics that we've all designed, that's sort of my baby. And like, when people copy for the repo without any sort of attribution, it's like, yeah, that it's not the greatest feeling. I think in this case, we just need to bridge a bit of understanding. Like, these NFTs went live with no image and people were swapping them on OpenSea. It's not like an art collectible here. Like, it's an NFT functionality inside the game. And OpenSea is just a platform that lists what an NFT ownership token is. In this case here, like, mate, come on board. We would love to work with you, but if it's going to be tough to sort of bridge this understanding, the community artists that we have, they've already redesigned all these assets, and we're in the process of updating them at the moment. So, like, my dream is that Daniel, come help us build the future of the metaverse. Like, we can't offer you much. We don't get money from all this. Like, but you could have a chance to work on something huge.
And look, this is where I will put my hands up and say, Adam, you're a better man than me, because I instantly looked at that and thought it's so interesting that once the game becomes popular, he goes public to say, oh, you know, I'm not giving you permission. It's almost like when someone sees their work being done and thinks somebody else is profiting off it without them getting a cut. But what he doesn't maybe realize is that you're not even getting a cut out of this. Like, you're not taking any profits out of this at all. Any profit that's being generated is between two people selling the functionality in the game, because that's what the NFTs are. So to move forward, to deal with this, how do you plan to deal with the NFT aspect? Is all NFT aspect going to be community driven from here on out? And if so, what does that mean for the community? Is there some sort of a reward for the community members, or is it only when they sell it on OpenSea? Like, how as a game in the game mechanics are you planning to reward community members for their contribution to the game?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good idea. And this is the vision of the project, that we as an open source team, we create the infrastructure and the platform that people can launch their own game mechanics. And so right now it's mainly just designs that you can launch on there. But the vision is that you're going to launch your own resources, your designs, your game mechanics. You've got like your own mini metaverse that you can design at your fingertips. And so obviously we need to incentivize all the talented people to come and build this out. And so right now, that community crafting feature, which we released a couple of weeks ago, 16% of those profits go straight to the designer. And so this is kind of our focus right now. There's a lot of manual work building out this community of artists and developers. But in the near distant future, we're going to have a really nice sort of platform that makes this as smooth as possible for you to launch, for you to get credited for your work, and for you to actually get a percentage for your hard work.
Nice. That's brilliant. So it's, again, incentivizing the community to get involved where otherwise they may not have been able to, but they can now come. And I've even seen in the docs, you even document in the GitHub exactly how to launch the NFT, like what they need to do, how to get started. It's I mean, even I looked at it and thought, wow, I could do this. And I'm not a dev. I'm not that way, but I think it's beautiful the way that you've done that. Spencer, I'm just curious, like, from your perspective, how do you see the situation? Because as the developer, obviously you rely on that artwork to come in to be able to transform that into the game, right? As a kind of software engineer. So how do you feel about the kind of way that it's going with the community-led graphics and the kind of the feel? Do you have any kind of thoughts around that and things that you're looking for that would help you moving forward, or anything you'd be excited to see from the community?
Yeah, sorry, I've been on mute because there's a bit of a storm going on here in Sydney, so it's a little bit loud. But
I can see it in the background. I'm kind of watching the light
Yeah.
in the window there.
It's a big summer storm. Yeah, look, I've actually been in the process of rebuilding the game board. So right now we have quite limited space. for developers to be able to add NFTs or add new features to the game. It's just, I mean, the way that the game was built, it was bootstrapped, kind of was just it's a very small grid-like system. So I've been in the process of rebuilding a much larger game board in preparation for this idea of having community members be able to add their own game mechanics, take up space on this board, build out whatever it is that you need to build out. It's hard for me in this situation in regards to assets, because I need things like, I need proper assets, I need a tile set, I need like all of these things that are consistent, like there. We have so many talented designers who are busting out so many cool NFTs, but I think, like Adam said, we need to build the infrastructure to allow everyone to be able to add all their talent to this. And I think right now we need to build a clear kind of guideline around design, the design patterns that we're looking for. And we need to kind of get settled on the asset pack. Hopefully we can continue working with Daniel, but if not, then we're going to need to find another asset pack that is willing to work with us, and not just willing, but excited to work with us and excited to continue working with us in the future.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So there you go, community, you've heard it here. There's kind of a rally and a call to arms at the moment. If you are a designer and you're interested and you love this space, we are looking for some, I would say some brand consistency around the asset
Just
pack.
need an entire asset pack. We just need like what we have right now. We need something
designers
like that,
happy for us to use it.
Exactly. And also, like, what I've been building on adds full mobile support as well, which is something that we don't have currently, which we're all really super excited about.
So okay, that's a really good point. You brought me onto a question there. Is mobile support coming?
Yeah, it's in the works.
That's good enough for me. So people are gonna be able to play this on their phone. Awesome. You're going to be able to spend all your MATIC either at your computer or on the go. It looks like Adam's just dropped out for a minute. Just while we're on the talk of assets and going away from the kind of the visual side of things, Romy, I want to talk a little bit about the soundtrack. We've all heard it. We've all played the game. We've all been there. And for anybody that hasn't played it and isn't aware of what I'm talking about, I'm talking about this.
Never imagined this would play all around the planet, mate.
You have a vision about this, right?
Yeah. By the way, I'm working on the first NFT, audio NFT launch. So,
okay, so
any artists will
NFT
be
now.
able, artists like musicians will be able to launch like their soundtrack to the game as well.
Because I've noticed this, like when you go into the game, and I know there's some people that say, yeah, that gets muted. And there's other people that say, oh my God, I've got that in my head all day. It's like Marmite. Like, I think I've done it myself. Like I've had it on in the background and just, I love it. I think that it's something that, and here's the thing. I assumed that was just an asset pack that was purchased from a website where it was just inputted into the game. Who made that?
I did.
So Romy, you actually created that sound.
I wrote that soundtrack. Yeah.
Because I can see the guitars in the background. I'm not going to embarrass you.
Yeah, I have everything.
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not going to put you on the spot. But so as a musician, that's something you love to do, right? You love to be able to create music, and
that was always one of my dreams, like to become a big musician and live off music. But then this was my teens dream, and then you grow up, and then things change, and then you become a software developer. But the music, I always loved music. And then I asked these guys, can I add the soundtrack on this? And then they definitely made, go for it. And then I had this idea, and then I wrote this, short song, and they loved it. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And then I just added to the player. And then now I'm actually working on a new track. So we'll be launching soon. And this is this is an idea that I really like, because I really want to get musicians involved in this project as well. We're not only talking about devs and designers, we're talking about more artists.
So I'm going to ask you, and I'll put you on the spot and say yes or no. It's completely up to you. There's no pressure. Do you want to give the people watching right now, do you want to give them a sneak peek of this new music? Or do you want to wait?
Let's wait.
We're going to wait.
Let's wait.
I've heard
Yeah, I
it.
think
It's
so.
amazing. I can't wait. And the thing is, if you look on the
If you
game,
want to play it, you can play it. You have it. I think
you know
on the
what?
chat.
I'll play a couple of seconds of it. All right.
Yeah, right.
Check this out, guys. Hold on. Here we go.
Not this one.
Nope.
No.
Ah, here we go. Let's crank it up, guys. Hold on. What do you think, guys? That's it.
I've
You're
been
getting. That's all you're getting. That's it. That's all you're getting, guys. You have to wait for the rest of it. So the idea is being able to put your own music in the game. People are going to be able to upload their own NFTs, audible versions that they can then put into the game.
and they're gonna get, you know, their share of it. That's the beauty of it. There's a lot of great musicians out there that they don't have a platform to launch the music and actually get visibility out of it, you know.
And
I think it's a great media to do it. Yeah.
If you're playing the game, guys, and if you're watching this, go into the game, click on the little icon for the music, and then just leave it and watch. The title and the artist comes up. If you actually saw that, you'd notice it says Romy. You would have seen his name, like you would see that he created that. And there is a skip button, meaning that there will be more music added. So now you know, guys, you're going to be able to upload your own music into this game in the future.
Thanks, Steve.
Nice. I love that. I think that's incredible. And I'm excited because when we talk about artists, I think often we think that artistry is just about the, sorry guys, let me just move that. It's just about the visual aspect, but it's not, is it? It's about all forms of artistry, whether it be music, whether it be animations, whether it be design, and to be able to put that together and put it into the game. And I'm assuming you're going to be able to create some sort of a guide to help people to be able to get that into the platform.
Yeah, we'll do more than a guide. It'll actually be a nice UI UX feature. We don't want the barrier to entry to be smart contract skills. We definitely want anyone, no matter what your level is, we want you to come and contribute to this game, and we want to try to remove those barriers to entry. Right now, there is a bit of manual work involved in it, but the future it'll be quite seamless.
Okay, so I think that's a valid point on looking at the continued growth beyond just the farming aspect, the crafting and the creation aspect, which is a much deeper level of thinking than just, hey, I'm going to go and plant some sunflowers, which, by the way, it's such a, I really want to take a moment, and I'm not saying this just because I'm here with you now, but I'm saying this as a user of the game, as a person that was playing the game, to come in and the game mechanics, the intro guide, the harvesting, that getting that reward, that instant gratification from harvesting those first 3 sunflowers and then replanting them and realizing in the moment you clock and go, hold on, that was profit. Wait, hold on. I can make money doing it. Hold on, this, and there's that whole side and psychological aspect. And we've noticed now there are people that do just come in, they harvest and they just sell. So they'll come in, they'll plant, they'll harvest, they'll sell. They don't really want to hold. They're not doing anything else. They're not investing. They're just harvesting and selling, and they're doing it with multiple accounts. What are your kind of thoughts on this? I'm not talking about botters now. Well, let's ignore the bot situation because we're dealing with that. But I'm talking about people that have set up multiple accounts and are farming and grinding manually and not using automation to do it.
It's the metaverse. It's open to play how you want to play it. If that is your aim of the game, you can feel free for it. Our main intention for the game is that it's fun. So people are doing this to collect items, to build out their farms, to show off their farms that they have.
So that's been a question that's popped up a lot: is can we multi-account? Can we multi-account? So I think the emphasis here is yes, you can, but not in a way that's destructive to the community. if you're willing to sit there and manually grind, then you deserve to get paid for it. But if you're going to sit there and script a bot that's going to run in the background of a smart contract, that's not conducive to a healthy community. So no to bots, but yes to multi-accounts if you want to. But with the intention that you've already mentioned, that there'll be more focus on single account bonuses than there will multiple account bonuses in the future. Players will be rewarded for an individual farm and for more that they do on that farm. It will be more about, it's the same thing. Like, I'm going to use that analogy again with Axie. There were people when Axie started, they went out and they bred thousands and thousands of Axie. And Jiho and the team have already said there's going to be real power in the individual team. There's going to be a connection to your pet. And I think in the same context, there's going to be a connection to your farm. Like, you're going to want to build that farm out to show it off. I'm already doing it. I love it. Like the idea of saying, hey, look, I've got this cat and this dog. Like, I'm not going to build that out on every farm. Like, it's going to be too much hard work, right? And it's not going to be financially viable or economically viable for me to do that. But to have one core main farm where I've got all of my assets, where I can say, hey, cool, look at this place. There'll be more incentive there in one farm than multiple farms. But if you do want multiple accounts, that's okay.
By the way, there's a great dev working on a new feature that you can check out your friend's farm. You just get the address and then you check out their farm.
I've seen this. It's a new thing. And I think, Adam, you commented on this recently. So there's now, and we'll get that posted in the community after this AMA. So you can actually go and check out other people's farms now.
Yeah, and this is amazing. Like, this is a feature that just another farmer came up with, and they're adding it to the game right now. And so hopefully we'll get this launched very soon. I've seen some other really good ideas in that community devs channel about a leaderboard as well. So if you do want to go check out the number one ranked farmer or the biggest potato hustler, you can actually jump over and see what their farm looks like, see what treasures they've accrued.
So is there any plans in the future? So again, we're going to look forward in the near future, not far off, but in the near future, when all the botting issues and the challenges and the congestion and the gas, once all of that's resolved, is there plans to build out sort of leaderboards or kind of structure where we can actually say the people that are playing the game genuinely, there's going to be a way to be able to see progress between the community?
It'll go much further than that. You'll actually be interacting with each other's farms. You'll be sending items, you'll be leaving cow dung, you'll be cleaning up things on their farms for them. So
hold on,
it's just not
cow dung on other people's farms. So you're going to be able to troll people in the game.
Yeah, and I know I'm aware that
that's it. I'm gonna open up a liquidity pool for cow dung. That's my purpose in this game now. So going back there, sorry, just you mentioned trading. So we're going to be able to, like, not just through MetaMask, like sending assets, we're actually going to be able to trade in game.
Yeah, well, right now we've been leaning on OpenSea and QuickSwap mainly. Like, if you want to trade some eggs for some gold, you can do that in the game. Sorry, in QuickSwap at the moment. But we definitely want to have some sort of auction house or some sort of consistent feel when you remain in the game and you're swapping your items, and you can actually see what the rate of these items are as well. It's like, cool, I just woke up, like, what's in high demand today? Oh, there's a global wheat shortage. I'm going to go jump over to the wheat fields and start planting them. Or like, there's a trout shortage right now. Everyone's trying to make fish burgers today. And so that's my role today, get as much fish as I can get, go to the trading house and trade that fish.
So this is like going well beyond gameplay now into like micro and macroeconomics. We're talking about a barter system. We're talking about when are we going to bring, like, it's interesting how we've gone like to take crypto, and we're going back through the financial system past fiat currency back to the bartering age. And there's some absolutely beautiful about this. I love it. It's so nostalgic. I'm so excited about what is going to come. And I don't want you to, like, the auction house, all of this is, I can't wait. Obviously, we know that we need to be able to get some of the challenges out of the way. But when we look beyond the challenges, when we look beyond the initial pain and suffering that people are experiencing, the future of this game is not, okay, we're done. This is like, we're just getting started. Like this is the beginning, right? This is like, guys, we're like a month or two into the project and we're already breaking networks and we're already causing challenges and making a name for ourselves. When this is all put together and out there, I'm so excited about this project right now. And I'm not just saying that as someone sitting here with you guys and as an investor, because like I'm just an investor like everybody else. I put my own money in because I believe in you guys and I believe in the project and I can see the potential. And I think it's fair to say, and everyone says it, but we're early, right? This is like almost as early as it gets. We're back down to pre-hype prices on like how things were around Christmas, right? If we take out the Christmas madness or the New Year rush and we look at where we are and we zoom out, you're at the beginning of this journey, guys. You're at the start here. And not only that, you don't have to wait for the team to build out functions. You can get involved. Like this is open source community building at its finest. It's like Farmville and Minecraft, like merged into blockchain, but open source. Like what's not to love? So, okay. I want to ask, does SFF have any multi-token plans?
That's a tough question, I guess. Like every resource in the game is a token at the moment. In terms of like official token, that is still yet to be decided. I think definitely at some point a DAO token makes sense. We want to hand over the controls from us as developers, having that final say and pushing that smart contract with the game mechanics to the community. And the best solution to that right now is through DAO token holdership.
And I don't know, like, if you can talk about this or answer this, or whether you can say, like, I don't know yet, but would SFF be that governance token, or could we look for a new token? Do we not know yet? Do we, like, is that something you're thinking about, or are you opening it up for the community to discuss? How does that look in your kind of initial roadmap?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
The clear idea. Yeah, we'll from the community on that one.
And I think that's fine. Like, we don't have to answer every question here. So maybe for the next AMA, we could explore and we could look at some more ideas there. So guys, if you've got any ideas about how you would like this to look for the future of the game, then we can discuss that and we can talk about it. So, okay. Some of the most important and practical issues in crypto, liquidity, custody, accessibility, and scalability. How is Sunflower going to solve these problems?
Yeah, I think around the liquidity, we've had our first attempt at addressing that with that community feature. Previously, when you crafted an item in Sunflowers, the tokens just went straight back into this general rewards pool that can be collected in that treasure chest every 3 days by players. The new community crafting feature, 80% of directly into the liquidity pool, and they're burnt. And so it's the best sort of anti-rug pull mechanism at the moment. No one can take those tokens out of liquidity.
So they're kind of burnt.
Yeah, we're just going to keep iterating on those. Yeah, exactly. And that's not the mechanism that we're always going to be stuck on. That's V1. We're going to have V2, V3, V4 of those community crafting mechanisms till we can get that formula right, that the liquidity is sustainable enough. I'll probably leave accessibility to Spencer. I think that's something that she's really good to talk on. I think scalability is sort of some of those points that we touched at the start. There's things that we can do in optimizing the smart contract to make it run smoothly on the blockchain. There's a lot of things that Polygon can do as well to scale that network. And so it's going to be a group effort between all of us to get to a solution there. There was one other as well, one other point you mentioned. Which one was that?
Oh, sorry. Yes. So looking at that question, it was about the liquidity, the custody, the accessibility, and the scalability.
Yeah, custodially, everything's an ERC20 token or an NFT. If you can collect it in the game, it's yours.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
that's the
we've
beauty
seen
of
the
all
value
this.
of this with Christmas trees, right? We've seen
Yep.
these golden eggs and these coops and things, and we've already seen some of the community members start to kind of direct themselves towards, okay, I'm going to be the person that generates eggs and adds egg liquidity. I'm going to hold gold and I'm going to do the gold liquidity. Like, we're seeing these market makers kind of create themselves within the community, like under their own steam, with no guidance or no advice, just doing it themselves. That's going to be quite beautiful to watch, right? To see your vision and your project kind of taking a direction of its own in a way.
That's it. The aim is that it just organically evolves. And we are seeing that already, like arbitrage between golden egg and sunflower token pools. Like, this is a real world economy, and we've only got a limited amount of resources right now. Imagine what this is going to look like when we've got 100, 200 resources all interacting in the future. It's going to be quite beautiful to watch it unfold.
I agree, and I'm excited about that. And so I suppose that leads me on to the question, and we're going to wrap up in a minute, guys. We're nearly there. I know we've run over, and are you okay, guys, just for a little bit longer, just to finish this off? There's a few more. I'm trying to get through. There's so many questions, guys. We will do another AMA. We will. What features are you excited about that are being worked on right now? And I'm going to address this to each of you because I kind of want you to all answer this. So, Romy, let's start with you, my friend. What features right now are you excited about that are being worked on at the moment?
I have to say the music side of it, because it's completely different way of thinking about NFTs, but I love how the new layout it's coming along with the accessibility to play on your phone. There's a lot of people that, DM me asking, when you launching this for, when can I play on my phone? And this will be huge as well, because you can play anywhere. You'll be playing on the train, going to work or whatever. Just, that would be massive, I think.
That's gonna be it. So you can earn money whilst you're on your way to earn money.
Yes.
It's like there's next level thinking there. Okay, so Spencer, what about yourself? What are you excited about working on? And
yeah, I mean, the layout, the having it be mobile friendly is definitely the most exciting thing for me. But a fun fact about me is that I actually used to be a dairy farmer.
Really?
In a past life, but before I became a dev, I worked on a dairy farm, and I really love cows. And so I'm coming up with a community kind of crafting tool where we'll have a limited number of bulls that will be kind of NFTs. And then you can purchase cows. And if you have a bull, then you can reproduce either what could be a bull or it might be another cow. But the limited number of like minted bulls will be great, because it's like you can either get one or not, or then you can buy one from someone else. But if you have one, you have the chance of creating another one in which you can then put back into the community, kind of mimicking the way in which, bulls work on farms in the real world. Not every farm has a bull, not every farm needs a bull, but it's just that chance that you may mint something kind of pretty valuable that's pretty rare.
That is a golden opportunity for some people.
Yeah.
The people that understand how this NFT space works, that is going to be golden. I can't wait. I am so excited. That is, I'm as soon as that drops, it's going to be no different to Victoria the cat. When that ball,
Yeah.
I'm going to be there. When ball.
Yeah, I'm a big cat fan too. So that one was my peak, and then I'm on the way to the
I'm so bullish on
cat.
balls. I am so bullish.
Yeah, that's me.
I love that. Amazing. And Adam?
The bakery.
So sorry,
I'm a game. The bakery, and so I'm a game designer at heart, and so I'm always, while still doing all these back-end improvements and verification, when I need a break, I'm jumping back over into the wheat fields, into flour, into the bakery, into a special edition cake, which one of the community artists has actually created for us. So I'm excited to get that feature out in the future.
I love that. I love that. And so I know that there's some features that have come out that have been quite close to you guys. There's been some animals that are close to your hearts, and are we going to see more of that? Are we going to see more of like you guys coming out, and are we going to see more of your your personality? Spencer's just mentioned like being a dairy farmer, he's bullish on bulls. And Adam, like for those of you that know within the community, we know that you know your concept of bringing a cat to life. Romy, we know you brought the music into the game. Like, are we going to continue to see you building in this, like even like from where it started, or is it now just business and let the community do it? Are we still going to see your assets?
We're always going to have our own flavor. We always want to act as an indie gaming studio. Like if you play these games, there's Easter eggs left, right, and center around their lives, around the business, around the work they've done. And I think every artist that deploys in our platform do the same. Like this is the chance of getting your idea out there, your vision on an immutable blockchain for the world to see. It's a legacy that you can leave behind.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. My daughter's gonna be so happy when I turn around and I go, "What'd you get me for Christmas, Dad?" "Hey, you got a ball." You're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna milk it, the cow anyway. And you're gonna go out to the chicken coop. I don't want to get dirty. It's fine. It's digital. You'll be fine. Just go out to the farm. So
I think there'll always be. I think we'll always put parts of our personalities back in the game. I think that, you know, we're so kind of enamored by the game. You know, like we love everything about it, and I think that just in life we're pretty fun. You know, like we have a good time together, and we kind of don't take ourselves too seriously. So I think like adding these little kind of, you know, like things in the game, like Victoria the cat or whatever, and now she's like the boss of everybody in Discord.
Especially
Like
in Discord,
that's hilarious.
That's got
That's
a real
hilarious.
attitude problem in Discord.
You know? Stuff like that will always, it keeps it fun, you know. So I think always you'll find that. I don't want this to ever just become like a business that's just running on the side, and like, you know, I don't see the fun in it anymore, because then what's the point, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. And on that note, where we just going back slightly, we talked about eggs, we talked about the idea of cows, and I'm going to assume there's going to be milk. I'm going to assume we're going to have eggs and milk, and if we've got pigs, there could end up being bacon. I mean, that means there might be a burning mechanism for pigs. I mean, who knows? Like, there's so many options that we could go through here. But what about cooking and recipes and the ability for me to create an NFT and you to create an NFT, and then we combine those NFTs to make a new NFT, like a breeding mechanism, but with those in-game assets? Like, how does that look?
Yeah, I think this is the beauty about the way that smart contracts and our concept is designed. It's all composable, and it's like, if a feature doesn't exist, like breeding and combining and mutating, the next feature we release, it's another smart contract, and it can have all that functionality in there. Steve, I'd love to actually hear from you. What sort of breeding or mutating aspects did you have in mind?
I mean, that's a really good question. I'm not saying that I want to mate like a bull with a dog, because that wouldn't mutate well. But like, we need, but there's so many interesting features, right? Like, we already know that we've got the scarecrow. So we can assume that if we've got a scarecrow, there's the potential we may have crows. Now, if we've got crows and we've got chickens, there's the potential that we may end up losing eggs. There's a potential that if we're not actively showing up to our farm to maintain it, there might be some degrading that happens over time to some of the assets in game if they're not collected. Like, there's so many ways that we can spin this, and I think it's just far too much to unpack in this AMA. But in the community, in the community dev and the community artist, I'm spending a lot more time in those two channels, because that's where the magic's happening. And like, I'll give an example of, and not necessarily a mutation, but of a feature which I like the idea of, and that's the ability to create paint. Now, I don't know how that looks yet, and I haven't thought about it, but having paint so that you can change the color of your buildings in game, but you first have to craft these items to make paint that you can then choose the color, that you can then use that on your building and burn it. And that would change the color of the aesthetics of your layout. Like there's so many things. And I've seen recently there's snow. I saw somebody release a concept for snow. I mean, there's just so much.
You see the fishing, the lake.
The lake is incredible, and it's been reworked, and it just looks I'm so excited. And everyone's like, when Lambo? I mean, like, when Lambo's so old, that's so like 2021. 2022 is the year of when tractor. When tractor. When and also what is tractor? Because we've seen like snippets about tractor giving you the ability to have automation. Like you can wrap a lot of these activities, like maybe we can have some auto crop farming abilities that come into the game through certain high level purchases.
Yeah, I think that's
There's definitely an element where we can grow this. And I mean, I don't know, you're asking me a question there that just blows my mind when I think about it. I can't answer you. There's just I'm too excited and there's too much. But I know that I'm going to be contributing. I know that is as much as I know. I'm going to find a way to contribute, because there's two types of people in this world. There's the consumers and the contributors. And I think you have to make a decision. And I said this to my daughter. I said, look, you can play games, but the more time you spend on a game, you earn that playtime by creating. You have to learn how to develop aspects of the game for you to be able to have like recreational time to play the game. Because I want to encourage her to learn about coding and to learn about smart contracts and how she can do that, because it's the future, right? So I think you have to ask yourself, are you a consumer or a contributor? And either's fine, but which are you? And what do you want to do? Do you want to consume from this community, kind of like the bots do? I'm just going to farm my SFF and bugger off and thank you very much. Or are you the kind of person that's like, I'm going to actually build this game out and make something magical that I enjoy playing, that's fun, that I can get to know people. Like I can build friendships around a community of like-minded people. It's there's so much. But yeah, with cooking, I mean, there's recipes, right? We're gonna have to have like grandma's, like, you know, warm apple pie and omelets, and like maybe crows can break eggs, and the broken eggs can be used to make an omelet, or like, I don't know. There's so many things. But
the game designs itself at this point.
It's interesting, and I think that leads on to a next question here. What about higher tier farms? Are we possibly going to see a level 6 and a level 7 farm? Like we've talked about expanded map size. Are there going to be new buildings? Because we saw it recently, right? With an NFT that was only craftable if you had a level 5 farm. So does it mean that and is this going to be a mechanism to help focus on one farm, that you're going to be upgraded beyond level 5?
Definitely. And for any of the people diving into the Solidity code, there is a level 6. We just haven't built it out in the UI yet.
Right.
So
okay.
There has been a few people that have actually gone through the smart contract and upgraded their farm. I think from level 6, everything's composable. We can just start building level 7, level 8. You get your NFT of your farm building at a certain level. It's really, the sky is the limit around this.
Let me just rewind. Did you just say at a certain level your farm will become an NFT?
We haven't locked this feature in there, but I think that makes sense. Being able to, everything is owned. You can own everything in the game except the build, your farm itself and the fields itself. And so that, in hindsight, I always wish it was an NFT, because it's all about you having everything on this farm and doing what you want with it.
Wow. So that in itself is a massive potential leak right now. Massive. The fact that you're going to be able to upgrade and turn your game that's locked at the moment to your MetaMask wallet, you're going to be able to turn that into an NFT that you can then share, pass on, hand over, move. And that's like a rewardable feature as you upgrade. Okay, I didn't see that one coming. I had no idea you were going to say that, guys. This is why it's good to be here, right? Okay, two more questions and we're done, guys. So do you have any plans for an auction house?
Not in the short term, but that's definitely the vision. I think it's all tokens that are interoperable with other protocols like QuickSwap and whatnot. We want to bring that into the consistent UI of the game. And so right now our focus isn't on building that out because you can go through different platforms at the moment, but in the future, yes. Or if you're a developer and you want to get this feature in now, open up a pull request and let's release it.
Okay, nice. So there's plans in the future, but not right now. And if you want to help on that, you absolutely can. Okay, any plans to implement any sort of social features into the game?
Yeah, and this is quite funny. So on 23rd of December last year, I wrote up a brief vision for 2022. I don't know if anyone saw it. It's like get a market cap or liquidity of $10,000, get 20,000 players by the end of 2022. And actually before 2022, we hit that vision because the game exploded. The way that we wanted to get the virality was through social mechanisms. And so that is when you are inviting farmers, you're sending them gifts. There's some features that you need someone else to help out with, whether someone has to come and plant a community fertilizer for it to grow quicker. So I think once we can start sharing those farms and people interacting and inviting other people to come play the game, that's that next level of growth. So there definitely are plans around that.
And we've already seen
check
the
out
sword feature, right? So we've seen the sword feature. We know there's possibly cow dung coming as well. Like there's the ability to be able to send emojis to other players, add friends, and build out that community aspect in the game, and maybe even talk to people in game. I mean, who knows? Who knows where this goes?
Yeah, if you've got an idea, come help us out. Come build it out.
This, and someone's just posted, this is the metaverse. It's an 8-bit open source enter to donate to enter game. I mean, that just sums it up right there, right? Yeah, community driven, you needed to add there. Guys, I do have one last question because this is a recent one and I'm asking this. I kind of want to know this myself. What's a gnome going to do?
So that was designed by First Mover on Discord, and there is some functionality that so there's hundreds of different assets that have been requested for the game. And I have seen the functionality that has been requested behind this. I won't leak that right now because another developer could get in before me and add some gnome functionality. But there definitely are plans for the gnome.
Okay.
And the thing with these items as well, they won't just have one functionality. If someone comes along and develops a new feature and they want Victoria the cat to be the boss of that or help out with that feature, you can do that. You can plug and play with 5 different NFTs on the game. It's not just going to be you designing with your own mechanic. You'll be encouraged to use the other NFTs in the game and bring this whole thing full circle. That's the plan.
I love that. And I think this is a great opportunity now to kind of wrap this up. I think we've shared a lot. There's a lot that needs to be done. And I think it's fair to say for the community, because a lot's changed. The fact that we've had the Discord, it's been built out, everything's happened so quickly, that we need to give the guys time. We need to allow them to go and build these protection mechanisms, these scalability mechanisms, the conversations. And every time they jump into Discord and the noise kind of distracts them from that focus, it just takes a little bit longer to do things. So what I'm going to ask you now as a community is, can we just respectfully give the team some time to do what we trust and believe that they can do, to deal with the botting issues and the collaboration with MATIC for the gas issues, and to look at some improvements with the save functions and all of the things that we continuously see repeated? Can we just give them some time and trust that they're going to do that? The fact that they're here today is to show you that they're not going anywhere. Like, we're at the start of this journey, and if you've got the ability to see past the short-term limitations that we're experiencing, and you can see the bigger vision, then I think it speaks for itself. You can see the potential here, right? So you just need to give the team some time. We've got the moderators, we've got the admin in Discord. The team will still be in Discord, but if they are less responsive, it's not because they're ignoring you, it's because they're focusing on other things. And I just wanted you to be able to understand that. But guys, each and every one of you, any closing remarks, any thoughts, any feedback, anything you want to share with the community before we end this? I know we've done 2 hours. I'm so grateful for your time on this.
Just want to give a shout out to the Brazilian community. They're becoming pretty big on our game. So, obrigado, Brazil. Yeah, it's crazy how many videos on YouTube we see from Brazil, from Brazilian players. You know, it's amazing to see this community growing and growing.
Guys, let's get some Brazilian flags in the chat. Let's see if we can do that. Can we flood the Brazilian flag? Let's do that. Let's get some love for Brazil in there. Rami, a question has just come in. Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes, I'm married.
Married? No,
so,
just a girlfriend.
yeah. So
put a ring on
just
it.
as a background, so I was born in Brazil, and I'm based in Australia for the last 7 years. So that's how I met these amazing people here. So we built this amazing team.
I love that. I love that. All right, guys, we've got Brazil. Let's get every single community in here, wherever you're from. Put your flag up. Let's see how many different communities we have here. I can see Brazil. I've seen the Philippines. I can see Turkey. I can see America. I can see. I don't think that's Sweden, Denmark. France, Germany,
Portugal.
Wow, Portugal. Just look at the chat. That's incredible. Wow. I think we're going to need our own flags, guys. I think farmers are going to need their own flags.
Ooh, that's awesome. Ooh. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Like, I know that this has been like a really stressful time, and it's been, you know, like we hear and read every single message that comes in. It's like, it's not like we're not taking these things seriously. We're really coming up with the best solution and implementing the best solution as quickly as we can, taking into account, you know, everyone's kind of concerns. But I just want to say I'm super appreciative for those original farmers that were just, you know, like plugging away in the beginning with no real, you know, we weren't really doing, there was no real incentive. There was no, like, you weren't watching the price fluctuate. You know, we were just in there every day, just kind of believing in this little project. And I just want to say a big thanks to them, because I really think that they set the tone for this community. And that's kind of what has made this community as welcoming and beautiful as it is, and as it will continue to be, I'm sure. So yeah, thank you to them.
Amazing work.
I want to thank the team as well. So we met great people in this last 3 weeks. You know, we wouldn't be where we are at this point if it wasn't for this amazing team we have helping us, like the mods, the moderation for each international, like for each language, you know, people helping, you know, structure the Discord server, and everyone that is involved really supporting us to build this beautiful metaverse. Steve, of course. Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
No, it's a pleasure, guys. Like I said, I love what you guys are doing. I'm so bullish on this right now. I mean, I get involved in a lot of projects, and I do a lot of things, and I talk to a lot of people, and you guys stopped me in my tracks. Like you stopped everyone in their tracks, to be fair, but you stopped me in my tracks, because it wasn't just what's causing these problems. It's like, wow, this is so exciting. Like I love what you guys are building, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I really am. I'm excited. Adam, my friend, any closing remarks before we end this AMA, this first success? Look, guys, just so you know, there's 500 people watching live in Discord. That I didn't know that was the limit. I didn't know there's a 500 person limit on who can. There's 500 of you watching right now in Discord. Next time we do this, we will plan it for more scale. We will organize it differently. you know, these are lessons that you learn as you go through. I'm scrolling through now. There are
The
so
irony of it. It's the irony of it all, man. The lessons that we learn every single thing we do.
it's it, right?
Planning.
We'll get better.
So many. We've still got the flags going. Poor Victoria. She's going to need a nap after this. She's been warning everyone. Duplicate text content. We'll work on Victoria. We'll see if we can give her some catnip. Oh, catnip. There's an interesting item. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Adam, any closing remarks, my friend?
Yeah, I'm seriously just so grateful for the community, like all the original players, the people that started streaming our game around like 300, 400 players. Like that was almost like the peak happiness. When I saw a video pop up in a language that I didn't speak, I was like, oh my God, the world is playing this game at the moment. And like, I just want to take the time to say thank you so much for joining this project, playing the game, and really helping out. Everyone's been giving great feedback, and I've just got such confidence in this community that we've built right now and this core team that we have, that we're going to do amazing things. So just so excited.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a start of something beautiful, and I'm excited to see what comes. Guys, that's it. We're going to leave it there. We're going to call an end to this first official AMA. We will, again, post a video. As soon as this is finished, we'll upload it. We'll get it posted for you. And we'll be in the chat if you need us for anything. Guys, thank you ever so much for your time. I'm so grateful. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Thomas.
And I look forward to some more updates in the near future.
Yeah, thanks for organizing this, Steve.
No worries, guys. Take care, everyone. Speak to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
All right, guys, we're out. And